It's now time for the Ray Longo Minute.
I want you to punch a hole in his fucking chest. That's what I want.
The Ray Longo Minute. Starring Ray Longo. The Jon Anik and Kenny Florian podcast.
Kenny, I don't know how he does it. I'll be honest. I witnessed it last night. I don't know how he does it.
He's a savage, man.
No, he really is.
I'm surprised that both of you survived the dinner and wine from last night. It looked tremendous. I was so jealous. I wish I was there. That looked absolutely delicious and a lot of fun.
No, let me tell you something. I had an absolutely great time with these guys. You know, it was great catching up, and the buff was out of control.
I know.
I tell you, everybody loves
buff's gonna buff, dude.
Oh yeah,
gonna buff.
Yeah. And he was, man. The people. Everybody loves the buff, right, John? He was a big hit last night.
Everybody loves the buff. There is no doubt about
it. Even the buff. He loves the buff.
What was the name of what was the name of the establishment that we were at last night?
Passiones.
Some of the best Italian food I have had in my 44 years on this planet. I obviously wasn't eating a lot of it early in my life, but it was outstanding. We ordered an obscene amount of food. You got to meet Cody Merrow for the first time. Which is
crazy, right?
We all feel like we know each other and talk to each other, obviously, on a weekly basis. It wasn't that many hours ago. Buff's out of his skull. I mean, again, if he gets married, I'm going to be one of the groomsmen. That's how close we are. But the dude's out of his skull. I mean, we go to your gym afterwards, right?
Oh, it was crazy.
Just trying to, have a moment. Dude's fucking lifting weights and grunting.
Turn around. He's doing sit-ups. He's curling. I mean, I don't know what was going on. It was like 11 o'clock at night. The guy he had energy for days.
I thought John and Bruce were going to have a sparring match in the cage over at the gym. I would have picked Anik by armbar round one. That's what I would have picked.
Kenny, I signed an NDA, so let's move on.
Okay, I want to see video. I just want to see video.
But we did have a sparring session. You can see my face, not a scratch on it.
But I tell you, Kenny, they rolled out the red carpet for us. It was really a great night. I was going to say, no idea.
Longo walks into this restaurant and you'd think he's the Godfather. I mean, you'd think that this guy is the most important man on the entire Long Island. All this food gets delivered within 3 minutes of us being in there. All these comped appetizers arrive.
Crazy.
That is awesome.
Crazy.
Obviously, Buff commands some VIP treatment, and
without
he was deep throating cameos and everything else in the lobby.
Yes, I'll tell you. But shout out to Emilio. Thank you very much, buddy, for the hospitality. The food was outstanding. I don't even eat like that, man. It was crazy, but I couldn't stop eating. That's the problem. But
it was really good, and so was this UFC fight night. A lot of people were bemoaning the fact that Ray Longo chose not to attend.
Yeah, that was a mistake, I guess. But here's the deal. So I have guys fighting on the contender, right? So it was like the last sparring.
Right.
You can't abandon. For me, that's the way I do it. You can't abandon ship, and you have to show them that you have to make sacrifices too. So if I jump out to the UFC, I look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden everything's on the back burner. But these guys want the contracts, and I wanted to be there for them, and that's it. Yeah. That's the way it rolls.
Dennis Bazooka, July 26th at the UFC Apex.
Followed, Dennis Bazooka next week from Tuesday, then followed by Charlie Campbell, then followed by Nassim Sadikov. So we got three.
Fight before the fight for you on Sunday when you arrive is to check that Palace Station mattress for bed bugs.
Oh, I'm not even touching that.
Draw for the host hotel.
I'm not touching that. We have Aljo's house too, Aljo and Moran.
Oh, that's right.
I think we'll be in good shape.
Yeah. All right, so let us dive in a little bit. By the way, I know people don't like, some of our listeners want it to be all MMA and don't want me to talk about your appearance. He isn't this tan in person, folks. I mean, I don't know if it's your camera light. I mean, you look great in person, and happy wedding anniversary, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sounds like a bigger deal for you and your wife than me and mine.
I don't think so.
You're trying. I mean, I'm not trying to celebrate necessarily, and neither is she. It seems like you guys might do something festive. That's all. Yeah. Maybe not.
You got to keep it real, John. All
right. Well, let us get into this because we were talking about it with Kenny, and I guess before we spin it forward in terms of what they do with Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett, and I guess it's like an unanswerable question because you don't know who's healthy.
Right.
I'd like to see both of them get a championship opportunity, but I think it's kind of weird to do an interim. But what were your thoughts on the main event? Because Ken Flo sort of feels like it should have been a submission for Yair Rodriguez and not a TKO due to a shoulder injury.
Oh, that's interesting.
I know. Well, you almost have to listen back. I don't need him to recount it, but Kenny, can you give him the abridged version?
But I mean, what was it? He was pulling out of an armbar. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I would say, it probably wouldn't have happened if his arm wasn't wrapped up the way it was. It's a weird one, but it's a direct result of Yair wrapping up the shoulder. That was my argument. Anyway.
That's if he went in there with a healthy shoulder. That's the other thing. But I see your point. I guess 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't know if that's a big deal, but you're right, though. He did pull out of that, and then he just rolled to his back.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing in terms of, how to proceed with guys who win a fight when there's an injury involved. But, the more I listen to Ken Flo, the more I, feel like a Yair Rodriguez title shot would not be would not be an issue.
Well, listen, I wouldn't have an issue with it no matter what happened. I mean, the guy definitely warrants a title shot either way. They both do, but one guy already had one. I think, just to keep it fresh. Yeah. I think, you really want to be fair. Rodriguez against Emmett to win a guaranteed title shot.
Yeah, but then, it's just easier said than done. You're right. That's the fight, but I don't know. Maybe you just throw an interim belt on it. Hey, so when we saw you last night, you had not seen Matt Schnell and Sumu Darji.
I did. That fight I watched it when I got home. Yeah, wow, that was wacky. I'll tell you, the incredible part was the way his lights kind of went out and how quick he recovered 4 or 5 times in a row. Like, he got stumbled once that looked bad. Then the guy, and he slipped like it was nothing was going on. Like, he was totally present. It wasn't like he showed up until maybe the end, but I don't know what the heck I was looking at, man. That guy, because he got rocked, like, it was very obvious and very, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but man, did he recoup right away? That was insane. Yeah, like right away.
Cody all fucking night, and he bet on Sumu Darji, and I love you, Cody, but all night he's just banging on the drum that Jacob Montalvo should have stopped this fight, and I thought Schnell recovered expeditiously every single time. Like, I didn't think there was any time where Montalvo could have stepped in there. What do you think about that, Kenny?
Yeah. I mean, I talked to Cody about the same thing. Listen, I think he was hurt. He was rocked. But again, the result kind of indicates that they shouldn't have stopped the fight, right? Yeah. I mean, Schnell was able to come back. He did recover well enough. Sumo didn't put him out enough to where I would say, okay, get the heck in there, ref. He allowed him to survive. That ref, I've seen some issues with him in the past. I didn't have a problem with this call in this fight. I thought Schnell showed an insane amount of heart coming back like he did. And he exposed Sumadarji. That was one of the things we talked about last week. Is Sumadarji is a tremendous striker, has a lot of power for that weight class. But boy, is he basic on the ground. And Schnell just completely exposed him there. But what a fight, dude. That was nuts.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, John, to me, the visual of like when he got elbowed, that visual was brutal, but it was a split second. And then he was back. Like that was the weird part. It was like two extremes. The visual of him buckling was huge, but then he got back just as quick. So you couldn't really, you could stop it if you wanted to say, I don't like the way he's buckling after those shots, but he definitely, as far as recovering and doing what they tell you, what the ref will tell you, if you keep moving, if you listen to my commands, I'm not going to stop the fight. He 100% checked that box off.
Yeah.
Right.
Nicely put. This was like shades of Darren Elkins, Mirsad Bektic for me, just the rally of all rallies for Schnell. And if you know the backstory, him losing his mom before his previous fight that did produce a bonus, but produced a 2-minute loss, right, in a huge spot for him. They turned him around quickly. And if this one doesn't go his way and he doesn't come back, maybe it's a performance bonus for Sumu Darji and he's got a baby boy on the way. I mean, this is a total career changer. And, to see a guy be that desperate, I think it speaks to training hard and being conditioned. And I just don't know that if you're not in the shape of your life, you can survive shots from one of the more powerful guys in the division at flyweight.
Really, John, you're dead on. He had to be in fantastic shape because even worse, when they interviewed him, he admittedly said, "I remember nothing."
Yeah.
So he's on autopilot, and that only comes from really being in superb shape. And he's been in those positions before where his body's dealt with it, I guess, because the way he came back was instantly, to me. It was like kind of crazy. Just when you want to say maybe they should, he's back in there. You know what I mean? It was
exactly
that was the crazy part. So yeah, I'm glad I went back and watched that. Hats off to Mac Schnell. That was absolutely phenomenal.
Really good kid, and really happy to see him shine in a huge moment, and it just needed it in the worst way. And Sue's got some recovering to do, but yeah, and the general Safe Saud, Cody just mentioning in the chat, just murdering it in the corner as usual. And Dana White did say that there's an extra check in the mail for Matt Schnell, who was hoping to get $100,000 in bonus.
Yeah.
Probably get something close to that.